The world of Super Mario is incredible, but it has its dark side. Did you know that several characters in this franchise have sad or even disturbing pasts? Bowser Jr., the son of Mario's arch-enemy, is one of the most beloved characters in the series and is one of the major highlights of Super Mario Galaxy, the movie, where he shows his desire to become a tyrant as evil as his father. However, in the games, there is something kind of tragic about the young boy's life, since he has no idea who his biological mother is. In fact, no one knows for sure who Bowser Jr.'s mother is, not even us. Nintendo refuses to reveal that secret. The one who also refuses to tell the truth is Bowser, his father. In the game Super Mario Sunshine, he lied to his son, saying that Peach was his mother, which motivated the kid to try to kidnap her. However, it was revealed at the end of the game that Bowser Jr. knew Peach was not his mother. He only pretended to believe his father because he wanted to have a mother, even if it wasn't real. That's really sad and suggests that Bowser Jr.'s mother may have passed away shortly after he was born. Maybe if Bowser Jr. had a mother, he wouldn't be so evil. That's right, and he's just one of the 10 characters with dark backstories you need to know in Super Mario Galaxy. Stay tuned because another awesome Cinewave is already on. Roselina. If there's someone who is extremely important to the story of Super Mario Galaxy, both the movie and the game, that someone is Roselina. The cosmic princess lives in the Comet Observatory out in space and takes care of the Lumas, small star-like creatures that live across the galaxies of Super Mario. She acts like a mother to these little beings, but not everything has been easy for Roselina. You may have noticed that Roselina lives only with the Lumas, but we don't see any members of her biological family. No mother, no father, no siblings, not even an uncle. However, the games show that she once had a mother who took care of her when she was a child. At some point, Roselina's mother passed away and left her alone. After that, the princess began taking in the Lumas, becoming a maternal figure to them, which is actually very sweet. The tragedy she went through didn't turn Roselina into a worse person, but rather into a better one. In the games, Roselina has also mentioned having a father and a brother, but they have never appeared in any game, and no one knows what her relationship with them is like. It's possible that they are not close for some reason, or even that both of them may have passed away as well. Bowser. Mario's main rival is dark by nature. We tend to forget that because he is funny and charismatic, but the truth is that Bowser is a malicious tyrant who has an unhealthy obsession with Princess Peach, to the point of constantly kidnapping her. Bowser Jr. may suffer from not having a mother, but Bowser seems to have gone through something even worse. At least in the games, he never had any father or mother, and we can see that in the game Yoshi's Island, which takes place in the past. Baby Bowser appears there, but he is not accompanied by parents, only by the Magic Koopa who serves him to this day. It seems that Kamek acted as Bowser's guardian in the past, which could mean that the villain's real parents passed away shortly after he was born or abandoned him. Another, even darker possibility is that Kamek created Bowser through magic, which would explain how Mario's rival is so powerful. Either way, it's very possible that Kamek is the main reason why the King of the Koopas is so evil. If the theory that the Magic Koopa created him through magic is true, then he may have also used magic to make Bowser naturally malicious. But even if Kamek only raised the young Bowser, that alone is enough. A guardian has the duty to teach a child what is right and wrong, yet the Magic Koopa only taught Bowser to be a tyrannical king who should dominate everything and spread terror across all kingdoms. So much so that Kamek himself was mistreated by baby Bowser. On top of that, a concept art piece from Super Mario Bros. The movie adds more depth to the character. This artwork shows a flashback of when Bowser was a young student and got rejected by Peach in a humiliating way, which led to everyone laughing at him. The scene was cut from the film, but this would explain why Bowser is so obsessed with the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. Maybe it was removed so Peach wouldn't seem too mean, or so Bowser wouldn't seem too tragic. So, what do you think? Could Bowser become a good person? Comment down below #Bowser with your opinion. Mario. As incredible as it may sound, even the hero of this franchise has a dark past. Mario is known for being a kind and fearless plumber who ventures through the Mushroom Kingdom and risks his own life to save the kingdoms from Bowser's grasp. But did you know he was once a villain in the past? Long before becoming the plumber known as Mario, he was a carpenter called Jumpman. He was the protagonist of the very first Donkey Kong game, where he had to climb structures and dodge barrels to save Pauline, who had been kidnapped by the gorilla. Okay, so far we've only talked about about heroic actions, right? Yes, but things change in the game Donkey Kong Jr., where Jumpman becomes the villain of the story. That's because this time, he captured Donkey Kong, and now Donkey Kong Jr. has to go rescue his father. And guess what? Jumpman doesn't hesitate at all to try to eliminate the baby gorilla just to stop him from saving his dad. We would never imagine today's Mario doing something like that, but there's no denying that he was a very bad person before becoming a plumber. However, it's worth remembering that the theory that Jumpman is actually the father or grandfather of the Mario we know is very popular. That would explain a lot and might be better than believing that Mario would be capable of trying to take the life of a baby gorilla. Luma, the blue star that appears in Super Mario Bros. The movie and will return in Super Mario Galaxy, is one of the funniest parts of these films. But there is a dark side to this character that we often forget because we assume everything he says is just a joke. Luma constantly says discouraging and depressive things, and even shows joy when he's close to losing his life, and disappointment when he is saved. All of this ends up being funny because this Luma says terrible things while having such a cute appearance. However, anyone who says these kinds of disturbing things and feels happy when their life is at risk is definitely a huge red flag. We should actually be concerned about Luma and ask ourselves what happened to him to end up in this state. Could being imprisoned by Bowser have driven him insane? Or did he become like this after going through some other trauma in a more distant past? Star rabbits. In the galaxies of Super Mario Galaxy, there is a species that can be found across multiple planets, the star rabbits. And yes, even they have a dark side to their lives. In the Mario Galaxy games, it is shown that many of these creatures are actually Lumas that transformed into rabbits. In the Super Mario Galaxy movie, a star rabbit is seen trapped inside a cage in a bar full of villains. It's awful to see such a small creature locked up, and it's very possible that this rabbit was captured to be sold illegally on the black market. Yoshi. The most famous dinosaur in the franchise is adorable and always smiling, but by now, it's clear that even cute creatures can have a sad story, and unfortunately, that's also the case with Yoshi. After all, it's pretty clear that he never had parents. His egg appears completely alone in the post-credit scene of Super Mario Bros. The movie. In the sequel, Mario and Luigi find him alone. In other words, no one knows what happened to his real parents. Yoshi was lucky to be found by the plumbers. At least he managed to find a new family. However, there is a small detail in the games that makes Yoshi's story even darker. In Super Mario games, especially in Super Mario World, there is a mechanic where the plumber jumps with Yoshi onto a platform, only to then jump off the dinosaur and use him as a boost to reach a distant platform. But when this happens, the dinosaur is left behind in midair, falling to his death. That's right, a game mechanic involves sacrificing Yoshi just to jump higher. How disturbing is that? The subscribe button is flashing just for you. Click it and hit the bell right now. Peach. When we look at Peach, we see a rich princess who has always had everything she wanted. But that's not exactly true, especially in the Mario movies. In the cinematic universe, the princess came from another world completely alone, even though she was just a little child. Fortunately, she was warmly welcomed by the Toads, who made her their princess. Even so, Peach spent all those years without ever knowing her real family, and without even meeting another human being, at least until Mario showed up at her castle. There's no denying that this is sad, and you can tell that Peach felt lonely before Mario appeared. She was loved by the Mushroom Kingdom, but still felt different from everyone else. It's no surprise that the princess was excited about the idea of visiting Mario's world in the first movie. Luigi. Mario's brother is an amazing character, and many people even prefer him over Mario, but there's something about Luigi that you should notice. He is extremely fearful, getting scared by almost anything. Even so, Luigi always faces his fears, which means he is braver than anyone else. However, he's not on this list just for being scared, but because his exaggerated fear strongly suggests that Luigi may suffer from something much worse than simple fear. He could have generalized anxiety disorder, a condition that makes you feel far more nervous and worried than normal. So what do you think? Does Luigi struggle with anxiety? Professor Egad. This scientist is kind of goofy, but he is, by himself, a very suspicious and even disturbing character. Professor Egad is known for creating ghost hunting equipment for Luigi in the game Luigi's Mansion, which might make him seem like a good guy, but the truth is that Egad has also done some bad things. For example, he created the magic paintbrush used by Bowser Jr., although in the games, the scientist only gave it to Bowser Jr. because he mistook him for Mario. But something that definitely has no excuse is when Egad accidentally created a goo-like creature and, instead of helping it, he performed several cruel experiments on it and later turned it into a replica of Luigi called Gooigi. Who could have imagined he would be this ruthless? The fun continues with just one click. There are 2 videos on the screen waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.